Hey babe, welcome back to another episode of the Money Mindset and Manicures podcast. Today I'm going to teach you a manifestation tip, manifestation tool, manifestation exercise that I know you already do already every single day, multiple times a day, but I don't think you consciously know that you are doing it. And it is such a powerful thing that is literally going to shift your reality when you use it consciously and when you can reprogram your subconscious by doing this. Now, we're going to be talking about shifting into your new identity. We're going to talk about how to develop your new self-concept. If you don't already know what a self-concept is, this is actually really, really powerful to actually have awareness around that, and how to reprogram your subconscious mind to become this new individual that you are shifting into, that you need to shift into in order to manifest your goals and desires. Now, I know that you have goals and desires. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you didn't. But did you know that there is a version of you that exists in some timeline out there that already has everything that you desire? Yes, everything that you desire, that version of you already exists out there. You just need to learn how to shift your identity so you can shift or jump into that timeline. You've maybe heard me talk about it on this podcast with quantum jumping, which I definitely need to do a full episode on. But when you hear on Instagram or YouTube about like quantum jumping and shifting timelines and stuff like that, this is what I'm talking about, because there are multiple timelines that exist all at the same time. And right now, you are just in your current one. But when you learn what I'm going to teach you in this podcast today, you're going to be able to take this tool, apply it to your life literally immediately. And by doing so, you are going to be able to maybe slowly, maybe quickly shift timelines so that you can manifest those goals and desires. The reason why you already exist in a different timeline with these different manifestations and desires already in existence is because you've already thought about it a million times, most likely, right? Like maybe you journal. If you don't, get the manuscripting journal. You've probably created a vision board. Maybe it's been a while since you've created one, but you've done it. You probably think about your goals and the things that you want to achieve and those things that you want to manifest into your reality. Maybe it's daily, maybe it's hourly, maybe it's once a week, maybe it's once a month, but you've thought about it. You've thought about these things so hard that you really want to achieve and manifest, right? So, because you've already thought about it and because you know deep down inside that thing that you want, it's because it already either exists in another timeline as you, or because it resonates with you so badly that it's eventually going to come. So how do we make it happen? We have to shift our identity. So when I talk about, or when you think about shifting into a new identity, this is exactly what you have to do. You have to create this feeling state, right? So think about when you think about those things that you desire. Now let's think about it positively, because I know you can sometimes think about your goals and desires and kind of like get to the point of like, oh, like it's not here yet, or oh my gosh, but I'm still poor. Oh my gosh, but I'm still single. But oh my gosh, I'm still unhealthy, right? But let's think about it when you do think about those things in that positive mindset state where you think about the money in your bank account or the love of your life and that relationship that you absolutely crave or that healthy body and fit body that you want or anything else that you desire, right? Like how are you thinking and feeling? Like you're feeling so good, right? Like it's exciting. Like you feel like you can just taste it, right? Like it is about to be here. So by learning how to shift your identity, it's going to be the secret for you to get to that thing manifesting a lot faster. You also have to transform and change the way you show up in the world, right? I talk about this all the time. You can't expect a new reality if you keep doing, thinking, and saying and showing up the same way every single day, right? So we have to learn how to transform and change the way that you show up in the world. You have to change the way that you speak. Think about how you speak, the way that you think, the way that you treat others, the way that you view the world and our reality, right? And the way, of course, that you treat yourself. right? Because if we're not treating ourselves good, right, what's going to happen? We're just attracting that negative energy. And I think, and let me know if you want me to do this, but I want to maybe do some podcast episodes on the different universal laws. Because even though I teach this inside the Marriage Scripting Sisterhood community, I think we do it in one of the challenges, or maybe I've just done some single master classes on this. But once you learn the foundation of at least the first 12 universal laws of our reality, everything starts to make sense. And I promise you, you start showing up differently in the world because you know how everything is reacting to how you do every single thing. But most people, right, they don't look at how they're showing up. They don't have this self-awareness. They're not doing it consciously, right? Everything in our reality, everything that you currently have, the way that you think, because we have so many thoughts a day, like thousands and thousands of thoughts a day, majority of those thoughts are repetitive, right? And our subconscious mind is formed by repetitiveness. So if we keep telling ourselves the same things over and over and over, guess what? That's what our subconscious mind believes. So by shifting the way that we think, it's by shifting the way that we talk, by shifting the way that we show up, and if we do it consistently, what starts to happen? You start to reprogram your subconscious mind. Now, when it comes to these people that don't do that, don't have this awareness, right? Like they're not listening to this podcast. They're not learning the secret tips and tools and tricks to shift your reality and manifest these things, right? What are they doing? They're showing up. They're getting the same thing every single day. And we all know at least one person. Usually they're an older generation. Maybe you grew up with them. Maybe it's a parent. Maybe it's someone that you know very closely. It could even be a friend that you've been friend for like tons and I was going to say millions of years, but that's impossible, right? But like for years and years and years. And you just hear them complaining about the same things over again. They live the same lifestyle and they're just like, they're like literally on this cycling loop, right? Like it's the same thing, different day, different year. Like they literally haven't changed. It's because they don't have that awareness of, hey, you are the creator of your reality, believe it or not. And they just don't know that yet. But because you're listening to this episode, you're going to learn how to be able to shift timelines. So month after month, year after year, like you're just going to be stepping further and further into this queendom self of yours that starts attracting and having everything that you desire. We all know and have seen maybe over the last year on Instagram, right? That lucky girl syndrome, right? Of, you know, that girl, maybe you follow that person where, oh my gosh, things just continue happening for them, right? Good thing after good thing after good thing. And they're just shouting it out on social media. And you're just like, what the hell? Like, what are they doing? Well, I guarantee you they're probably doing this. And maybe if you've been following me for a while, you might look at me because I get this feedback inside the community a lot where it's like, gosh, Sam, like you just keep accomplishing so many different things. The brand just keeps on growing. Your life just keeps getting better and you're just evolving and it's just getting better and better and better. It's literally because I am doing this. It's nothing else. It's literally just by being aware of how you're showing up every single day. And I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes of all of this, but I'm just trying to paint this picture of how you can actually shift and change your reality. And it's not as hard as you think, because I think also a lot of people step into this work thinking that, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much work to manifest. And there's so many things that I need to do and change. And while yes, but it's not hard. It's just you stepping into and shifting into this new identity and doing it so consistently that ultimately your reality is going to change, is going to shift. There's no doubt that things will change because you have ultimately changed. So in the last episode, I talked about negative loops and how to change that cycle. And if you haven't listened to that episode, I highly recommend, like literally right after this one, go listen to that one, because that one I believe is a foundational piece before you can actually start shifting your reality. Because if you're showing up and if you're still complaining, if you're still doing like having this mindset of things aren't happening fast enough for me, or, you know, just all those negative thoughts about manifestation, this isn't going to work because you literally have to nip those all in the butt. And that as well takes some subconscious reprogramming, which will take time depending how stuck in that negative loop you are. But once you have that awareness, once again, you're going to be able to make that shift. When you master how to shift into your new identity, which by the way, you already do this multiple times a day. You just probably aren't aware of it. This is why this exercise that I'm going to take you through is so freaking cool. Because I swear to you, it is the secret. I swear to you, those girls or guys on Instagram that you follow that you just see like things are just happening over really, really quickly, like snap of a finger. I promise you, they are doing this because otherwise it's like nothing changes. Nothing changes if we don't change, right? So once you get into learning how to shift into your identity, you'll never, ever, ever doubt a manifestation from coming true because you will have learned the foundational tool that will bring it to fruition. So first off, I have to preface all of this with, did you know that you actually have lots of different identities? Let me give you some examples of ones that may resonate with you. And if these don't resonate with you, you'll be able to get the process of like figuring out your identities. So you have your work identity, right? When you go to work, you speak a certain way, you treat others a certain way, like your coworkers, your CEO, your boss, you dress a certain way for work, right? Then you have your friend identity. You probably speak and dress and talk, like do different things with your friends and act a different way than you do at work, right? Right? Going into work, you're probably a little bit more professional, hanging out with your friends. You're probably a little bit more laid back, fun, whatever, right? Two totally different identities. And then maybe you are a sibling identity. I love this one, right? You might be the youngest of your family, right? So maybe when you go home and hang out with your family, like you kind of revert back to that, oh, I'm the youngest baby of the group, right? Or maybe you're the eldest child like me. So I go home and I'm the older sister, right? So I'm giving advice. I'm, treating my sister a different way and I treat her a little bit differently than I would treat my friends, right? That's an identity. Or maybe you are the girlfriend identity or the wife identity, right? So when you're with your boyfriend, or husband, you probably act differently than when you are by yourself or with your girlfriends, right? Like I know for me, for example, if I'm at home and Mark, my fiance, is at home and I'm trying to move a piece of furniture or if I'm trying to open a jar, right? I'm so in my feminine energy around him. Like I'm going to ask him for help. I'm going to ask him to like open this bottle. But you better believe if he's not home, I'm freaking opening that jar. I'm shifting that mattress or that dresser or whatever all by myself, right? So those are what I mean by different identities. And it doesn't mean that you are like some crazy person with different identities. It's just the way that we speak, the way that we act, the way that we think, in those different scenarios, we have a different identity. So that's all that is. When you have your identity, when you know about this identity, this is what I'm talking about throughout this episode, and you'll be able to apply it to how to shift that into manifesting your desires. So before we dive into that, let's talk a little bit about self-concept, because this part is very important when it comes to shifting into your new identity. So your self-concept is the way that you view yourself. These are your dominant beliefs that you have about yourself. This is what you believe about the world, about other things. It's basically your relationship to things, how you personally view and think about other external things and including yourself. So for example, how do I see myself in regards to money? How do I see myself in regards to careers or my business or my job? How do I see myself in regards to health? How do I see myself in regards to friendships? How do I see myself in regards to relationships? How do I see myself in regards to anything and everything else? So you can kind of go through all of those right off the bat and just like think about, what is my belief about those things? Like, do you believe like, oh, I am truly abundant? Or do you have a poor money mindset? Like, do you believe like, oh yeah, I'm poor? Or do you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm rich? How about in relationships? Do you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm like single, I'm never going to meet a man? Or do you feel yourself as like, no, I'm like a loving girlfriend and I cannot wait to meet my partner? Or if you are in a relationship, are you a good wife? Are you a good girlfriend? Do you suck at it? Like, are you constantly cycling through relationships? Like, what are your beliefs about that? Do you believe that one day you will have a marriage, right, that's going to be successful? Or are you surrounded by divorces and you feel like, oh my gosh, if I get married, I'm 100% like thinking in the back of my mind, like, oh gosh, I'm probably going to get divorced, right? even though we don't want to think about those things, what are your actual beliefs around those things to their core? That is your self-concept. And the only way you can shift your reality is to shift the way you view yourself and your self-concept, because ultimately your beliefs about everything else and you is what creates your reality. And because of the universal laws, your reality doesn't change until you do. So think about that, right? A lot of people expect I will change once everything else around me changes. I'll change when I get the house. I'll change when I have the money in my bank account. I'll change when I'm in the relationship. I'll change when I have the friendships. I'll change when I have the body, right? But just think about it. Let's just think health in perspective, right? I could sit here all day wishing and dreaming I had a six-pack and a booty, but if I don't change the way that I eat, if I don't start going to the gym, if I don't start talking to myself in a positive way to get me motivated to go to the gym, that's not going to happen for me, right? It's not going to happen. I will not have the abs and the booty. So just think about it in the perspective of nothing changes in our reality until we do, until we change our beliefs. So in order to shift your paradigm, it starts in your paradigm, I'm interchanging that with the word reality, your paradigm, that is your world, right? That is your paradigm. We all have our each paradigm on how we view things, right? How we think about things. My paradigm is not the same as your paradigm that's listening, right? So in order to shift our paradigm, we have to start with our self-concept and identity. This is key. And your self-concept is subconsciously programmed into us. And now that you have this awareness about this, now you can actually take action on it to change it, to shift it, right? Because our subconscious mind basically creates our paradigm. So if you don't like your paradigm, if you don't like your reality, let's start working with that subconscious mind, which starts with what do we believe? Because our beliefs then trigger our thoughts. Our thoughts then trigger our actions and emotions, and you kind of probably already know the rest from there. So let me teach you how easy it is to shift your identity, because again, you already do this multiple times a day. Like I just told you with all those different examples, going to work or going to school or going to your job or going out with your friends or going all of those different things, right? Because you have a different reality or different identity, going to work versus getting off of work, right? So when you go to work, I don't know, you should love your job, right? But I know maybe you don't love it right now. Maybe you're manifesting a new career or a promotion or to start your own business, right? So let's just look at it from a perspective of someone that really wants to change their life. Say you're going to work, right? And, it's the same thing every single day. And maybe you don't love it that much. Let's be real, right? So you're going to work, you're probably tired, but you're getting it together. You're thinking about that meeting that you're going to have today or that presentation that you have to make, right? So you're getting all you're conjuring up this serious energy, right? You're going into work, right? Now what happens when you're done with work? How many times are you dragging through the work day, and then the second you can clock out or leave, you're so energized again, right? You're shifting into a new identity. You're excited to get off of work. You're excited to go home and get on the couch with your dog and get into your sweats and get all comfy and cute. And maybe you post on social media, so you're excited to go home and film reels or TikToks. And maybe you're going out to happy hour with your girlfriends and you are so excited. You cannot wait. So you're getting all this excited energy. You're turning on your music in your car. You maybe starting to sing and dance, right? You're shifting your identity. Are we understanding what I mean by shifting identity? I hope you are, because that's exactly what I mean. You feel just a different way depending on the scenario that you are going into, right? You're either feeling happier, you're either feeling more depressed, you're shifting these different identities. So all day long, you are shifting identities depending on what you are doing and what you are feeling. So can you see now how simple it can be to shift your identity to actually manifest your desires? All you have to do is make a choice. And this is the key right here. You have to make a choice to shift into the identity of the woman that already has the things that you desire. You have to stop waiting for these external changes to happen for you to become that version of yourself, because it is not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. Here are 3 questions you can ask yourself to figure out your current identity. And again, depending on what identity you're in right now, listening to this podcast, I don't know, maybe you're on your way to work. Maybe you're on a walk with your dog. Maybe you are just cleaning the house right now, right? So depending, you're in an identity right now. So depending on that, but just peel back all those layers. Think about who you are. What is your identity at your core? And this is what you can ask yourself. How do I think? Like majority of the time, how do I think? How do I speak? How do I feel? So those are 3 really great questions to ask yourself to really figure out your core identity. And even when you are at work, and maybe you're trying to manifest a new job, maybe you're manifesting a promotion, maybe you want to manifest your own business, right? How are you feeling at work? You can ask yourself those 3. Same thing in a relationship, same thing in a health perspective, same with money mindset. Think about how you feel. That is your identity at the core of all those different areas of your life. Okay. And when you answer those honestly, that's when you're able to also make the shift. If you're going to sit here lying to yourself about how you feel, how you want, this isn't a how you want to feel. That's coming. That's how we bridge this gap to shifting your identity. But you have to get super, super honest with yourself, because if you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anything. Okay, babe, I know you're listening to this podcast because I know that you have a desire to change your life and accomplish big goals, right? But I also know that something has been holding you back on going after those big goals. Or maybe it's that you self-sabotage, or maybe you've set these big goals and you get really overwhelmed and you just don't go after them altogether. Well, I want to introduce you to a journal that is literally going to help you change your life and help you actually manifest and accomplish any desires or goals that you have. It's called the Marriage Scripting Journal, and it's the #1 selling manifestation and goal setting journal designed exclusively for empowering women just like you to up level and change your life. Now, if you haven't seen this journal on social media already, I want to share with you that it is literally your personal guide to manifesting your dreams and unlocking your true potential. And inside its beautifully curated pages, you'll discover powerful daily journaling pages, workbooks, and exercises to help you set goals, help you plan your dreams, and manifest the life that you deserve. Plus, the one thing that I had to include, and it was a non-negotiable with this journal, is that it needed to have a community. So you'll also have access to join an online community filled with thousands of women just like you who are on the same path using the journal. So I invite you to join me and these thousands of women who have already embraced the power of manifestation and changed their life using the Marriage Scripting Journal. And I also want to gift you with a special 15% off code on your first journal order by using the code Money Mindset. The code is Money Mindset. So head over to manuscripting.com today and embark on a transformative journey by ordering the journal. So go ahead, check out the show notes, empower yourself. Answer the call to getting this journal. If this is speaking to you, I want you to join us. It's time to script your dreams into reality with the Marriage Scripting Journal, because you deserve to create and manifest a life that you're completely obsessed with. See show notes for details. Now think about, in any of those scenarios, or even at your core identity, think about the woman you want to be. With all of those goals and desires, they've already been achieved. They've already been manifested. You already have it all. The way that you describe your identity is who you are in this future timeline. Who are you with all of those manifestations? So again, once you have all of those things, how do you think? How do you speak? How do you feel? I'm guessing you feel pretty damn good, right? You're feeling happy. You're feeling joyous. You're feeling abundant. You're feeling confident. You're feeling sexy, beautiful, right? All of those positive things that we want to embody. And that's exactly what you want to start shifting this new identity to being, right? Because when it comes to manifesting, you've already thought about those things that you desire to death, probably, right? It's why you're here. It's why you're listening to this podcast. So you can learn, oh, Sam, what's the next thing? What's the next thing that I can do to just manifest instantly, right? But again, it's all about, not that it's going to take forever, but it's going to take time, because where you are today is what's programmed in your mind. And that's why you're showing up. And that's why you have the paradigm that you have. So we have to conjure up this new version of yourself, and you actually have to step into that and live it every single day, even if your external reality isn't reflecting that yet. Because I promise you, once you start shifting into this new mindset, this new self-concept, this new identity that you are, I promise you, your reality is going to start mirroring that. Because the current reality that you have is just that. And I talked about this in the last episode. It is just a mirror. It's a mirror. So don't think, oh, I could just show up as like my queen ass self for one day, and then the next day be like, oh shit, well, nothing changed, so nothing works, right? Nothing changed, nothing works, so I'm not going to continue doing that. You can't give up on it. You have to shift into it and change it and stay there and wait until your paradigm starts shifting and changing. And I promise you that it will. So for example, with this, say you want to be a founder of your own company, or maybe you want to be the CEO of the company that you work for, right? Dream big. I want you to dream big. But you'd ask yourself, by transforming your identity into that role, even if you are not there yet. So just think about, okay, right? You're envisioning your goal. You're envisioning that thing that you desire. So just think about anything right now. I'm just using the CEO founder thing as an example. Think about that. Think about that part. And these are questions you want to ask yourself. Am I in the right feeling state right now? So how are you feeling being in that role? Like, and I'm smiling. I have my eyes closed because I'm just envisioning this role. Like, I'm smiling because instantly just thinking about it, I'm like, oh my God, that feels so good to have that goal achieved and manifested. Like, I am doing it. I did it, right? I am the CEO. I am that founder, right? How fun and powerful would that be? How awesome is it that I am doing exactly what I said and have been telling myself that I would do, right? That's the first question. Next one is, am I in the right identity, right? So compare it to where you are right now. If every single day you're waking up and you're feeling tired and just depressed, or maybe you're working really, really hard towards your goals and it's not happening yet, just shift it to being like, no, I fucking got this. I'm so confident right now. Like, I got this. I'm the CEO and founder. Like, I am that boss bitch. Think about also, you're the CEO or founder. Think about the basic things in your day to day. For example, how are you waking up in the morning? How do you get dressed? How are you showing up in the world? What are you eating? What are these daily habits that you have? Are you the type that gets up and meditates and journals? Are you the type that gets up and makes your latte and goes to Pilates and then starts work? Like, what do you see for yourself in this future timeline role? Like, what are you doing? And what of those things can you literally start doing today, right? Because it's all about embodying. We talk a lot about like feeling the energy and thinking and acting as if. That's exactly what this is. But most people, they do it for a day or two and then they fucking give up. And they go back into their pre-programmed state of the same shit, different days, start complaining, start getting lazy, don't take action on the things because it's not working fast enough. No, it's a full-on identity shift. That's what I want you to really understand when it comes to manifesting, because too many people give up right before it actually happens, because things in our world start rearranging and shifting. Things start getting uncomfortable. And that's going to happen because as you reprogram your subconscious mind, it is so fucking uncomfortable with change. So uncomfortable. You could be starting to do the best thing for yourself. For example, maybe getting that 8 hours of sleep. For example, maybe drinking all the water that you're supposed to, eating healthy, going to the gym, working on your business. But your subconscious mind, if it hasn't been already doing that, it's going to freak the fuck out. And it's going to say, you know what? Put that off. Do it later. Do it next week. Oh, we're too busy right now. Oh, you know what? You just don't have time for that today. oh my gosh, it's not a priority. You should go work on something else that literally has nothing to do with your goals. That's what will start happening. And you have to overcome that part until it becomes so solidified in your routine that it becomes the new normal. I can tell you even for example, for the past, I'm almost at a year of not drinking alcohol, which is it's very crazy, exciting. But when I first started on this, it just started as a little game for myself. Oh, I just won't drink this week. Oh, this event isn't worth it. Oh, and it turned into a couple weeks. And I never set out, by the way, I never ever set out to quote unquote be sober or not drink alcohol. I just wanted to take a break. I had just done a plant medicine ceremony, and I had a couple weeks after that, I had gone out to an outing and drank. And after that day, I was all like, that was fucking terrible. Why would I do that? Like, I don't want to do this. I'm taking a break for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, just like week after week, I started not drinking. Where before, every single social outing, every single dinner out, I would have a cocktail or some wine or this, or always felt the need to have a drink in my hand, right? Always felt that. Why? That's the subconscious programming that I had. That's what I thought made me feel comfortable. That's what I felt was more accepted, right, by others, right? And then slowly but surely over time, I think it was like not until like the third or fourth month where I didn't even have to think about it anymore. It's like, hey, Sam, you want a drink? No. And I didn't feel a certain way because I had taken the time for me not drinking, whether it's at social events, at dinners, celebrations, anything like that. I didn't need it anymore. I didn't crave it anymore. I didn't desire it anymore because I had reprogrammed my subconscious mind to not need that thing. And I know that's kind of like a big example, but this is what I'm talking about. Think about anything that maybe you've quit in your life, something that was bad for you or a bad habit or anything bad, right? It took time for you to wean yourself off, but you had the awareness. You had the goal of not doing that thing and you stuck to it. Most people don't have the strength, the consistency to stick to those things. And that's why people slip back into old habits. That's why people keep living the same life over and over and over again. They keep attracting the same shit over and over and over again because they never fully reprogram their subconscious mind. But I'm telling you, you are powerful as fuck. You can literally do this. You have to have the faith in yourself. You have to stay fucking committed and not let the voices, whether it's in your head or from external people in your life, tell you that you can't or you won't or you shouldn't. Because once you make that decision and you stick to it, I promise you, your life will change. It will. So when it comes to doing these different things and other questions you can ask yourself around shifting into this new identity is, how do you view people in your reality, right? Like with all the crazy things going on in the world and oh my God, we're in an election year and God knows what's going to happen at the end of this year, right? Once that starts rolling around, we know what happened 3-4 years ago, right? How our world got turned completely upside down. But how do you view people in your reality? How do you view our reality? Is it positive? Is it negative? Do you let it impact you? Do you trust people? Do you think everyone in this world is bad and evil? Right? How do you view things? Do you always see the higher good? Do you always see the positive in things? Or are you constantly consuming the negative news? Right? Because again, that's going to program how you think, how you feel, right? So how do you as a founder, as a CEO, view others? You're probably going to have to treat others with respect, right? You're probably going to have to be open and willing to have conversations with people, right? Because if you're a founder of a company, like you probably have employees and people working for you. So you're going to have to be somewhat of a people person. You're going to have to learn to trust people, right? Do you enjoy talking to other people? Or are you like this like homebody that like doesn't want any friends, which is totally fine. But think about these things. How do you treat others? And most importantly, how do you treat yourself? How do you talk to yourself? If you're that CEO founder, like, you think the founder is shit talking about themselves every single day? No, absolutely not. And I can sit here as a founder myself, as a CEO of a company. I can tell you I don't. Do I ever have doubts throughout the day or the week or the month? Do I have bad days? Yes. But you better believe I'm not sitting here thinking worst case scenarios 24/7 or having really crappy low self-confidence, right? I don't. I'm always thinking the positive. I'm always thinking, how can I improve things? How can I support my community better? How can I show up better? How can I help people learn? How can I be of support, right, to others? I'm always thinking about how I can be a better fiance, right? How I can be a better dog mom, how I can be a better friend. I'm not sitting here thinking about the shitty things all the time. If I did, I guarantee you my company and my success wouldn't be what it is today. By shifting really into this new reality, this is how you do it. And now, lucky for you, you have this awareness that it's not some big, magical, mystical thing about manifesting. It's literally just shifting your identity, right? We talk about this all the time, and this is how you do it. And when you go into shifting this identity, you do it in a way where you are not seeking or needing any external validation. I want you to remember that. This isn't about, oh, look at me. Oh, look what I've done. Oh, look what I'm doing. Don't wait for any external validation. Just do it. Be it, embody it, and you become it. And then you will have it. You will have it all. So when you start coming, or what will start to come with all of this happening is, of course, success, abundance. You're going to feel better because you're shifting into this new identity, right? The new identity you're shifting into is obviously going to be positive, right? Like that's the goal. It's a positive shift. We're not talking about shifting negatively. Nobody wants that. This isn't what this podcast is about, right? You're going to feel better. You'll get more opportunities. You're going to look better. You're going to be happier. You're going to have more joy. And in turn, what happens? Your things in your life that you want to manifest will start coming to fruition. That is part of the universal law. That is how this game in this reality is played. So congratulations. Like you are literally just at the beginning of this game right now, and you're slowly but surely going to be able to make those shifts. And now I don't want to pre-program you in saying this is going to take a long time. I've had many people inside the community or women that have come to the Sedona Goddess Retreat. They've had instant fucking shifts because we do a lot of this work as well on the Sedona Goddess Retreat because we talk so much about it and we get to those nitty-gritty details of identities, the current ones, and shifting it and talking about goals and dreams and how we're stuck and healing those aspects of ourselves, right? And then I'll get text messages. We have group chats from the Sedona Goddess Retreat. Every single one has a group chat, and a lot of them are still very much ongoing. But it's like once they get home, it's like, oh my gosh, X, Y, and Z happened because they're going home with a different mindset. They're going home with a different perspective. And you can do this on your own right here. But if you want to come to the Sedona Goddess Retreat, we have one coming up in the fall. Highly recommend it because when I tell you the timeline shifting, the quantum jumping that comes from that retreat itself is so freaking powerful. And it's amazing to watch and see. It's because you actually immerse yourself into an environment that allows you to do these shifts very, very quickly and you take them home with you. And then you have support along the way with it. So I just wanted to throw that in there as it kind of just fell into my mind about thinking about how I've seen fast shifts occur. So this isn't something, again, I don't want to pre-program you as saying, oh, it's going to take so long or whatever. Just trust the process. Just keep doing this type of work and shifting your identity. Make sure it sticks. And ultimately, it becomes your new paradigm. It becomes your new identity and it sticks. And then as you show up into all these other different areas of identities, right? Your work identity, your friendship identity, your health identity, all of those things, right? It's just going to be an elevated version of that identity, right? You don't have to fall back or dumb yourself down into your old identity to show up at work or with your friends, right? Because ultimately what starts happening is, again, because you shifted identities, your external world is going to start to shift. Your paradigm will change. So maybe your group of friends change, right? Maybe you stop hanging out with the ones that you currently have because maybe they gossip a lot. Maybe they talk negatively about their significant others. Maybe all they do is complain, right? So as you're shifting your identity to be more positive, to be that go-getter woman, to be that boss babe, right? Once you're shifting that, maybe those friends no longer resonate with you. So then all of a sudden, your new identity is attracting new girlfriends into the picture. And now you start hanging out with these new girlfriends and not the old ones. Say you're showing up to work with this new elevated identity, right? Maybe you start resonating like, oh my gosh, like maybe you finally have the balls to quit. Maybe you finally take action on starting that new business and it starts to explode, right? So just imagine just by doing this core work with your self-concept and identity, when you shift that paradigm, this is how your reality changes and shifts. Do you get it? It's like so easy. So I would love to know, when you start making these changes, you can literally start writing out these things in your journal. That's usually the easiest place to start, is just by starting it. Because whatever follows, I am, for example, I am rich, I am poor, aka your identity becomes your destiny, right? This becomes your reality. This becomes your paradigm. So the results, as I said, that you have right now are coming from this certain identity that you're currently embodying. So we're easily now going to be able to make the shift. This is what I want you to do, is with your journal. You can start by doing this every single day. You can do this once and see if it sticks. But again, you're trying to reprogram that subconscious mind of yours. So by doing something very repetitively, it's going to help you actually shift, because your mind, as smart and beautiful it is, it doesn't know what reality is from what you tell it. Like, for example, from what's fake, right? That's why we always say, like, acting as if you already have the things, because your mind cannot differentiate what's actually real and what is made up. And this is why this exercise is so powerful. But for example, you can write in your journal all of the things that you want your new identity shift to be. For example, I am the type of person who easily and effortlessly receives $10,000 in my business every single month. Or I am the type of person who has, or am in a loving relationship and I'm treated like a queen. Or I'm the type of person that has amazing friends and they love me and respect me and I respect them, right? So fill in those things with your new identity that you want to exude. I am fill in the blank. Like, be so descriptive with that, of all aspects, with your career, with your money, with your health, with your relationships, like everything. Just start writing it out. And then as you start reading those things, start actually showing up and embodying those parts of you, and you'll truly be able to manifest anything. So don't limit yourself with this. And I know for a lot of us, because you're like these amazing go-getter manifestor babes, I know that in the beginning, this may seem like not necessarily overwhelming, but almost like, gosh, I just want it here right now. I just want the change right now. I just want it to happen instantly. Like, I don't want it to be so hard. Just go into it like treating it like a fun game. Gamify it. Start just by literally tomorrow, because you're already in your day to day, or even tonight. I don't know. Whenever you can, like by tomorrow, I want you to actually show up in your new identity. And it's probably going to feel uncomfortable, but just fucking go with it. Play a character, right? Talk a lot about main character energy all over social media, the lucky girl syndrome, main character energy. Like, what haven't we done on social as a trend? Play that role. Because when it comes to manifesting, that's all that it is. You're literally just like stepping into this new role so that you can attract all those things that you desire. And slowly but surely, as you show up, maybe you start dressing a little bit differently. Maybe you start wearing your hair different. Maybe you put on makeup. Maybe you start talking more eloquently. Maybe you just like start doing these little things and start showing up as her. And I promise you, your paradigm is going to change. And it's all because you just made the effort and you had the awareness to change your self-concept and shift your identity, which is going to lead you into manifesting all of your desires. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you loved it, please share it with a friend, because I know that this concept, even though it is so like just listening to it, right? It sounds so like what? Like so simple, like duh, right? But not many have the awareness around this self-concept, this identity shifting modality. And it's something you can do right away to help you transform your life. So share it with a friend. And if you found this episode helpful, I would love if you would leave a review if you haven't already. And also like slide into my DMs on Instagram, Samantha Kazuch, like slide into my DMs. Let me know if you like this episode. And also let me know what types of episodes or what questions you have for episodes coming up. I would love to know because I love filming and creating and recording episodes that answer your questions so that they resonate with you. So slide into my DMs, start a conversation with me, and I hope to hear from you. So thank you so much for listening. I love you, and I will see you soon.